It has been a long old trek, and it's taken us nearly 6 months. In fact, no more than 6 months, but we are very nearly at the end of scouting the March youth intakes. The scouts are on to Spain. I believe that is the final country that comes in, and then we will be done with it, and we can start things slightly fresher, slightly differently. Plus, we can send scouts out to look for those players for our winter transfer special, and that is going to be a fun one. Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Building a Nation with FC Midtjylland. If you guys are still enjoying the series, do be sure to smash a like on the video. That would be spectacular. If we could get 500, that would be even better. Now, I think there's been some problems with YouTube sub boxes lately. I've certainly not had some videos from some people I'm subscribed to, and I know that other people are saying that that's the case too, which kind of sucks. And there's not really a lot I can do about that, which is a real shame. But that's just YouTube for you. They've also been having some weird issues with thumbnails, where the moment the video goes live, it deletes the thumbnail. And unfortunately, this weekend I'm not going to be around for a couple of the upload times, which means that the thumbnail might not actually be there. So I do apologise in advance if YouTube just goes, nah, we'll just delete that. So yeah. So in this episode, we've only had a couple, three in the live com games basically, because I really did want to show you guys a little bit more of the Champions League, particularly as we're looking like that might be, I'm just seeing little twinkles of things that mean we could be on to achieve something if we just get the balance right. We showed something against Benfica, we showed something against Celta Vigo, we showed a hell of a lot against Manchester City, and I want to make sure that we can show that throughout the rest of the group and maybe earn some more coefficient points. Who knows, if we can pick up a victory somewhere along the way, I think we can get that third spot away from Celta Vigo. That's the theory anyway. Anyway, enjoy the games that we have played this month, which have all been, of course, in the league and whatnot, and I will join you guys in a sec for the game at home against Benfica. If we can do something here, it would be monumental for our season. Olsen slips it through for Royer this time, and it's in the back of the net, finally. We've been dominating chances in this first sort of few minutes of the game, and we do have the lead through Daniel Royer, puts us 2 points off the top this time. Looking into the channel, Cruz has got the pace to get on this first touch. Good second touch goal. 2-0 Midtjylland. Juan Cruz is 5th of the season. Ibrahim was not having a good game. Cruz off the bench. We're cruising now. So up. Scores the penalty. A little bit disappointed to concede one like that, but hey, it was definitely a penalty. 2-1. Find a cross. Goes for Julian instead. Ball in. All the way through. Sparv. What a strike that is from Tim Sparv. And we lead against V-Ball in the derby in the cup. And we need to get through to the next round really here. And Hansen does well. Hansen's lost out. Fredriksson's in, and it is 1-1 here. Very, very disappointing defending there from Kian Hansen. And V-Ball are back level. Royer steps up, and we're in to the next round of the cup. Didn't really want to have to do it on penalties, but we have. Thank God for that. Sparv to step up and take it. Sparv to score it, and we have the lead against SecondYellowCard, which will send us back to the top of the league for the first time in quite a long time this season, frankly, and with a game in hand too. Up for Cruz. They've backed off of him quite a lot here, and he's got that. Oh, what a pick out from Cruz. Royer's all the way through, and he's scored, and it's 2-0 now to Midtjylland. Lovely pick out from the youngster, and Royer makes it 2-0. Well, there we go. 2-0. Pretty poor performance on the night, really. 12 shots from range. They really did deny us a lot of good opportunities, but we still wrote them down in the end. So the league is shaping up quite nicely for us at the moment. We are still second. We did briefly, ever so briefly, go top after our previous game. However, Obi have won in the meantime, and got to give them credit. They're still having a bloody good season, even though we've got those 2 games in hand on them and probably will be able to overtake them. You can't really deny the fact that they are a very, very deserving title rival for us at the moment, because, again, Copenhagen just not been involved. Them and AGF are sort of the next 2 guys that look like those 4 are going to be the ones that sort of break away, and everyone else is kind of going to just sort of battle over those final 2 championship spots, basically. That just seems to be the way things are going at the moment. Now, obviously, that could change as we get into the championship stage of things, when obviously everyone's playing each other. But what I think it's more likely to do is increase the gap between the top 4 and everyone else. And I think that by the end of the season, it will split into 3 little groups in that. So there'll be us and Odense at the top, then you'll have AGF and Copenhagen in a little second one, followed by, I'm not entirely sure who will get into those final spots. Let me know what you think in the comments. But one thing is for sure, it does look like SecondYellowCard are going to be finishing bottom this year, with Næstved aren't doing that well either. But newly promoted Hobro are at least putting a good fight in, and Silkeborg, who very nearly went down last year, have managed to put in a much better showing this year, and that's nice to see. In fact, they're sort of on the precipices of maybe even a challenge for that 6th spot. You never know. We do have the top 2 average rating players in the league too, with Sisto and Munksgaard, of course, doing their best to get those spots nicely. And Munksgaard have got 6 assists in the league, but Quincy Antipas has had an incredibly good good start to the season for Hobro and has slowly overtaken Munksgaard. Now, I do put that partly down to the fact that obviously we've been rotating the squad a hell of a lot, and I think that's why we've not had any players challenging on the top scorer list at the moment, because I've literally rotating the squad so heavily that it's getting to the point where players are actually complaining about the lack of football, even though they're getting football. Like, I had Kerenan coming at me again, even though he played like 10, 12 times so far this season, and made a load of substitute appearances, which don't count towards football, and that's something I really do hate, because it seems like playing them, no matter how many minutes they get off the bench, they still complain. And I understand you want to start games, but still, that really does need to be looked at, I think. More importantly as well is the fact that we've kept 10 clean sheets in our first 15 games and only conceded 6 goals, which to me is absolutely fantastic. And I think that's the main reason for our success. We've not been quite so over the top going forward this year. I think we've scored the same amount of goals as Odense, but we've only conceded 6 times this year, and that is superb. So I thought we'd take a little look at the players that we've got out on loan at other clubs and just sort of catch up and see how they're doing. So I'm sorting it by average rating at the moment, just to see who's performing the best, obviously. Now we'll take a little look down. Pedro Queiroz, look at that, 8 appearances for Randers, 2 assists so far, and a 7.45 rating in a team that are not playing that well. He's now also 3.5 stars. I wonder if Queiroz is the sort of man that could slot in very, very nicely for us next year. But a good performance out on loan for Randers this year could be really, really useful. I'm also interested in the players that are out on loan at clubs that are playing in Europe, although I think that's none now because they've all got knocked the fuck out, which is very impressive of them at this stage in the season. I really could have done with one of them getting themselves into at least the group stages for us. And that could actually be one of the problems down the line, because when we do get ourselves into a position where we've got that Champions League group stage berth off the bat, the problem we might then have is that because we don't have to go through the 3 playoff rounds, we gain coefficient points by going through those playoff rounds. Now, unfortunately, I don't believe we'll then be thrown into a group straight away with teams that we might struggle to beat, and we might actually find ourselves losing coefficient points in that. So it is a delicate balance. And that's when things are going to start to get really difficult for us. Once we've got to start competing on the coefficients to keep ourselves in that top 15, until such time as we can start winning Champions League matches on a regular basis and getting that 3rd spot on a regular basis to make sure we have European football after Christmas and more chances to gain points. Or, of course, the other teams around us start pulling their fingers out and actually getting some coefficient points for us as well. It's going to be tough, but that's where the fun of this save's coming from, and that's what I'm really looking forward to in a way. Also out on loan, doing very, very well at AC Horsens is Vinicius. He's only started 5 games and he's got 4 goals for them already, which is beautiful to see. Razvan Marin's got 2 assists. He's out on loan at SecondYellowCard, of course, who we played in the last game, and they're having a poor season, so for him to be doing so well is definitely pleasing. Sopo's putting in some solid performances for AGF, who are doing well. Zupan has scored himself a goal, which is always nice to see as well. Anyone that most of the players down here are generally players that they're youth players that are already at the club, stuff like that aren't really that important to the long-term success of this save, whereas everyone from sort of here up kind of are, and it's nice to see that they're doing at least okay. Biasi's not played that much really, which is a shame. Ala, unfortunately, he's actually scored a couple of goals despite that 5 finishing, which I believe actually went up to 7. Yes, he's got 7 finishing now, which is good. He's improving. Even Fincru's actually having a decent time. He's got a 7.08 rating away at Frederica. So, hey, fair play to the lad. You never know what's going to come from these guys. Over time, this page, it'll probably be more than 1 page very soon. That's what I would say about this. Top scorer, Ramadan Sobi still with 11 goals, but there's Piero Sisto in there with 7, Juan Cruz with 5. Now, I'm actually starting to think about a different idea for us to allow our strikers a little bit more free roam. We'll talk about that in a second. Assist, Munksgaard has 11 now, Sisto 7, Olsen 6. Sobi hasn't contributed as many assists as I would have expected this year. In fact, where the hell is he even? Yeah, he's only got 3 this season, which is surprising. He's played kind of a bit more all over the shop this year, and I think that might be contributing to it. In a very interesting turn of events, I just did a quick pick to clear out players who were suspended and injured, and my assistant has put Juan Cruz in up top today. Now, obviously, I'm going to switch to the other tactic and see what happens then. But I tell you what, my assistant wants me to play Juan Cruz, and I'm actually tempted to go with it. The kid's got a few goals in some games that he's played this year, and the other thing I was testing, in the last couple of games, I've been experimenting with the attacking striker role, basically, as to where to play them. Now, in this tactic, I'm going to leave it as it is. But in this one, at first I tried deep lying forward on on an attacking mode, just to see if maybe he could get involved in the play a little bit more. But the issue was, I feel like we've got too many players doing the build-up then, and not enough actually putting the goals in the net, and I thought that might have been part of the problem. He just had no defined role. So what I tried in the latter stages of the game was the poacher role. Just giving him one task, put ball in net, because we've got plenty of players behind to handle the build-up, and it'd be nice to have a player that's just in there to score goals. And I wonder if that's a good idea. So what do you guys think about that? What do you think would be the best role for our striker? And don't say complete forward, because the fact is I've never had that work well for me in any system I've ever used it in, just because it usually requires a ridiculous level of quality from the player itself in order to be able to facilitate the role. So what do you guys think, other than that, for the sort of role that would fit best with this sort of tactic that we're playing? Just looking for the striker at the moment. I'm just kind of curious to see what you think about that. So, Cruz, Sisto, Sobi, Olsen, Singh, Sparv, Novak, Hansen, Sakibo, Munksgaard. Sakibo He's now 3.5 stars in this team, and that's pretty damn good, actually. Still only worth 150k, though, interestingly. So we're going to go with the more standard approach today. I decided to not go counter from the off, because I feel like there might be something in this game for us, potentially. Oh, hello, Sisters through already. Whew, that was a very, very fast start from us, my goodness. If we can somehow magically take anything from this game, Man City are beating Celta Vigo. That's good. That's what we needed, really. We need City to make sure that they can... Oh, dear. I do feel like we'll probably lose this one, but I feel like it's worth giving it a... Wow. Okay, that was... different. But we've had a couple of shots so far. We're not looking outclassed yet. Give it time, though. There's plenty of time for that. This is not what I wanted to see. Harmeet Singh is injured. And, like, properly injured. Who have we got? Is Nikolai Kirk probably the best man for the job? Or Römer? Kirk is just in better shape in general right now. Oh, as usual, it's doing that thing. Yeah. Kirk is probably the man for the job there, so we'll probably have to go for that right now. Apologies if you can hear noises in the background once again. I think the neighbour's doing something. I don't know what they're doing. Let's see. Right, okay, let's just go for it. We're actually doing okay so far. We've not looked completely outclassed by them, I would say that. That might be offside, actually, Sisto. Ball across. Kirk! Olsen! Sisto! Oh, what a chance. This is what I mean. These sort of chances do not... They're unforgivable, because you do not get a second shot at this sort of situation. We're actually playing really, really well today. Cruz is not going to get there, though, unfortunately. Grimaldo is going to have to thump this. Yardell. And we're actually playing really, really well today. They've only had 2 shots and they've not hit the target with them once. We've had some chances and I'm quite content with what we're doing at the moment. It seems to be working quite nicely. We've created opportunities, but this is the problem. We're missing the chances when they arise, and that is just criminal at times. Kirk out wide. Can he pull it across for someone? He does. Cruz! Nah, it's not happening, is it? We're going to lose 1-0 or something from our rebound free kick goal today, I think. That's sort of the way this game's going, isn't it? You can sometimes feel it. We're actually playing really, really well today. Like, superbly. Go out there and do it. We're going to really motivate them. A lot of long passing. Wow, they are, look at this. They are dominating those wing areas, but they've not got any crosses in successfully so far, which is very, very useful to note. We, however, have had 3 successful crosses on this right, and a lot of good balls into the channel on the left. Okay, what I am going to do is... Actually, no, I'm going to leave things as it is. Fact is, we're playing well so far. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Even a draw is a good result in my mind. But the fact is, we've played so well. If we were to get the win here, it could be the difference between us getting that 3rd and that 4th spot, really. Because, obviously, it would put us above Celta Vigo. And we'd still have to play them at home in the next live comment tomorrow's episode, which is going to be great. Well, we've really played well today. I'm going to just drop that tempo down a tad. A tad? A tad. And maybe exploit the right flank a little bit, since that's where we've actually got our crosses in from. Substitutions is going to be a massively important situation. Oh, come on, no. Free kick goal, please, no. Whew, phew. I don't think this is done, though. Look at the space. Okay, first real chance of the game for them. Thankfully, we didn't concede from a free kick, which is just about perfect, really, isn't it? Well, they've got a lot of one-named players. I like that. Things stand as they are at the moment. We'll still only be 4th in the group, but it would be huge. We've played well today, but they are just starting to find a little bit more about them. And I do worry about that. Okay, so keeper's looking fired up. He's not had the best game, but he's at least looking fired up, if nothing else. Changes. Cruz, maybe get him out for Cadlets. Give Cadlets a run. I've not been super impressed with him today, but again, it's a difficult game for a striker, particularly when he's not going to get a lot of opportunity. Olsen might be the other one to bring off, actually, because he's on 64% fitness. He's had a good game, but... maybe get Juland in the middle. He can play there, and he has done quite effectively, particularly in that first season. I think I would take a draw at this point. I feel like we've probably been good value for a draw if we could get one out of it, because they are starting to come back into it a little bit, and I worry if maybe switching to counter might not be such a bad idea at this stage. Did I put the tempo down? I did. Might just turn it off of that, actually. We haven't really created as much since I switched to that flank. Sisto's had a woeful game, and that might be a reason where we should go away from that wing. Okay, 15 minutes to go. It's very, very finely poised, this game. This could go either way, or it could go neither way, which is kind of what I'm hoping for at this point. Yeah, look at this. They are really starting to get some pressure on us now. I think we might just have to try and see this out. Maybe just switch to counter for the final... Thing is, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't at this point. I'm going to do it. Sod's Law will concede a goal anyway, but... tell you what, I think we're going to get away with it again. Hansen, out for Sisto. Long ranger, perhaps? Nah. But, we've got it. We've got a 0-0 draw against Benfica, which is... not the best result, but not the worst result either. They were top of the group, and we've got a 0-0 draw against them as well. That's points against City and Benfica in this group, and I think that's a good result, personally. Given what we've done so far, I think that's given us some hope. That's 2 points gained in the group so far. We've still got Celta Vigo to play at home, which I think there might be an off-shot of us winning that game. You never know. So there's still hope for us yet, I think. And this is certainly making that next episode even more poised. decided to have another little trot over to the coefficient screen just to check, and it looks like we've actually currently pulling out a little bit of a lead over Croatia, which is key, because as long as we get top 15, that's where we want to be, and we've now got over a point on them at the moment, and have actually gained a lot more points this year than the two countries above us, which is very interesting. So we're closing the gap on Switzerland and Greece at the moment. That 12th spot is very, very important if we could somehow get there, but I don't think it's going to be this year. This year the aim is to get that 15th place, and I think we're poised to do that, particularly if we can get a win over Celta Vigo and get that 3rd spot. I think that's in the bag for us if we can do that. Next episode, of course, it is going to be Celta Vigo at home. That is going to be massive, because if we can grab a win there, firstly, it's our first Champions League win in 2 years, and also, I think if we can beat Celta Vigo there, we will get 3rd in the group, because we'll have more points than them, and we won't have to worry about head-to-head. We could beat them 1-0 and it wouldn't matter, provided they don't get any big results against Benfica in that final game, which might also be a live com as well. So, we've got 2 games against Brøndby and 1 against Esbjerg in between. Hopefully we can win all 3. I don't really know if we will, though, because we'll rest players for the away game at Brøndby. We might well take a hit on that one, but hey, we'll still be right in the title race, and that's where we want to be. So, if you guys have enjoyed this, do drop a like on the video. That would be superb. I've just noticed that we're favourites for the Celta Vigo game as well, which is interesting. I'm really going to have to pick a tactic and decide what tactic do you think I should play. Obviously, it won't matter, but I'm still kind of curious to see what you have to say. Yeah, so if you have enjoyed it, do drop a like on the video, and if you are new to the channel, subscribe for more videos like this in your inbox every single day at 7 o'clock, and I will join you guys tomorrow for a game against Celta Vigo, which could decide the fate of our European journey this year. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.